Really?
Yep.
Rain and snow?
Yep.
Well, that's what we should have at this time of year.
That's because we prune the trees.
Right,
So
exactly.
now it's like, what?
Yeah.
Leave them out.
Yeah, I gotta get do some moves, I guess, is what I need to do. Since it's gotten wet now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all part of the wild experience of living in Southwest Oregon.
I never.
So we got lots of stuff going on, huh, Donna? Yeah. Gonna be happy to get us a new superintendent, and that gonna be interesting. Yeah.
You'll never forget my interview partner.
I know, we did good.
I thought we did pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be
Is that door open because it's
interesting time.
I don't know.
It's
Could be.
Why there's a snowman over there still? Is that been there the whole time and I just haven't noticed that snowman?
Always.
Right there?
I know, it's been there.
Has it been there the whole time? Has that snowman been there the whole time, Charlie, and I just didn't notice it? It has been?
I've never
Oh,
seen.
that is, that's bad.
That's part of our program until Daniel said.
Me?
Good.
Yeah.
So the snow's only been there for one meeting. Really?
One meeting. I'm like, that's pretty bad when you don't notice it like that.
Yeah, Valerie's decided she likes over here, so she can see people.
I'm sure in charge.
And I like, yeah, right?
Trade me out.
Am I sitting in the right place? I guess I am.
Oh, yeah, you told me.
Yeah. And then Laura gets to feel like I don't like her.
You're switching your location?
Huh?
You're switching your location?
Yeah, I kind of like it here so I can see people.
Okay, I'll try to remember.
That's okay.
Make
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah, it's hard when you're looking down the line all the time.
I know. I mean, we could angle tables or something, you know.
There was, and, she wanted to deal with this. So she looks at it. And this is what's really approved. Okay, that's all right, there we go.
Yes.
So, there's no deal, we can just see if we are ready. Yes, we do. Why is it something?
Right.
What else?
It wasn't me.
She said like a saute.
Your dad does.
Sound like dump truck.
Laura, don't take it personally, but I like sitting over here now. I know. Or take it personally, but I know whatever.
We should all sit over there.
You don't want to sit there. Oh, and it's not gonna be.
You no longer feel special.
No, the dump truck, the truck truck. Oh, he said this done. He really wants it.
Back to you guys all got agendas?
I got one. I printed one off. See, there's one right here too. Is this the agenda?
It's so stunning. I copy of that. I got it. The president, I got.
Paige Guttenberg.
Oh, she is.
She is. No, well.
Right?
I was having.
I know, I put this jacket on. I thought, I'm gonna be hot. I always get hot. And I thought, well, I better go ahead and put it on. You want to take it on. Now, yeah, it works.
Yeah. 10 to 12, yeah. Mine's gonna be like 8-10 minutes late. Oh, never mind.
Glad you made it.
Yeah, barely.
That's all right.
She was just getting your.
I'll drive out my yellow. You're looking extra sharp tonight.
You're welcome.
That's not a Saturday lunch, I wouldn't work right for it, or eat you lunch.
You're right. I think it just got their instant friends.
Right, yeah, silence.
Hi.
There will be none of that change here. It might fit the rest of us.
That job.
Right, caramba.
I haven't eaten that, yeah.
Right.
90 years of sample.
And we don't get Leah tonight.
So. They would just watch slow movies.
I don't know how to do a meeting without Leah. That'd be like, okay, like, that's just not okay. Yeah, I scoot further away from you if I were you.
That there.
I live on. I had some blood in here. It'll be fine. You're like an old woman. Exactly. Right here.
And I was talking to you, so.
This was quick, downhill slide, man. This is what I've learned from Joe over the years now. Oh,
Was it close to the work story?
Clint? No,
Oh, it was. I should go.
he did say Clint, like, yeah, no, it's not around. So this is. This is it.
Tons of training.
You can start early. That would be weird. Okay.
Privacy.
All right, welcome everyone. Let's begin with the. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maybe please sign in, what's this?
All right. So look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Wait, you know.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Move,
Second.
seconded. All in favor? Everyone. All right. Student of the Month Awards. Where should we start?
In the beginning.
I don't know. Let's start with elementary. That's stuff. Oh, please.
Please sign in on the white sheet.
Pardon me?
Please sign in on the white sheet.
Yes. And our elementary student of the month is. Come on over and join us.
Don't smile.
So it could be called.
Only that word.
So far, she's the only one I thought was calling the room. Where's that? All right. Kelsey Stevenson, which is our student of the month for her impressive growth and accomplishing her towards height. She has shown consistent improvement in all academic areas, proving that hard work really does pay off. Kelsey's kind, responsible, and respectful to everyone she interacts with, and she sets a great example for her classmates. Kelsey truly rises above everyone, literally, as well as in leadership, effort, and attitude. Her peers clearly see these qualities as well, as they voted for her to serve as student representative for our elementary leadership. She also worked tirelessly baking for our Ronald McDonald House fundraiser, turning determination, generosity, and a whole lot of baked goods into a class total of just under $900 raised. Whether she's reaching to the top shelf or reaching her goals, Kelsey is always giving her best. We are lucky to have her in our family. Thank you.
Does Dad want a picture with his daughter?
It's real.
I'm tall, and still.
That's excellent.
Good job.
No picture for you. Okay, go ahead.
Back
Sneak outside.
Well, you guys.
All right, happy sliding. Thank you for coming. Say middle school.
Okay. Jade, no.
Yes, me.
What are you doing?
I got the one.
Letter.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
All right. So I nominated Jaden Young for Student of the Month because he consistently demonstrates excellence both academically and in athletics. Jaden is a dedicated athlete who excels in football and basketball, showing strong teamwork, discipline, and perseverance. In the classroom and throughout the school day, he is quiet but always respectful, hardworking, and kind to everyone around him. He leads by example, never seeking attention, yet always willing to help classmates and support others when needed. His positive attitude, strong work ethic, and respectful behavior make him a role model for his peers and a deserving recipient of this recognition.
Parents want
Thank you. Great work. Good job.
She's like, I got also. There's a game going on, right?
Yeah, Ms. North, well, I don't think it. I'll make sure that, again, so the audience knows, when we don't have a student who's unable to attend, I have to my office, I read to them, the kind words that were written about him, award, make sure they get the award and publish a picture of it in, a bulletin that goes out to both boards every Friday, so that they know the kids present.
And our high school person was Nymeria Gideon. This is Mr. Brooks again.
Yes,
Goodness. Did you want to say it?
Sure, I'll read it out. Yep. So I recognize Namara as Student of the Month for her outstanding dedication, leadership, and academic excellence. Although she is also quiet by nature, she consistently steps forward to take on leadership roles as an active FFA officer, demonstrating responsibility, commitment, and a willingness to serve others. In the classroom, she excels academically, particularly in biology, where her hard work, curiosity, and perseverance are evident in everything she does. Namara is always willing to help others when she sees an opportunity, and she challenges herself by stepping outside of her comfort zone to grow and succeed. Her determination, kindness, and leadership make her an excellent role model and truly a deserving recipient of this recognition.
I just wanted to add that each month when we do this, we receive nominations. And then the administrative team sits down, and goes through those nominations to try to identify the one set of pros or recommendations that comes from the teacher that sounds the most worthy. I'm gonna tell you this last month for these awards, I'll bet we had a dozen nominations. And it just happens to be coincidental that both of them are his, but I mean, we just had, and it was not easy this last one. We had some really good ones. But I'm just really proud of our kids because these are all three very deserving students. And behind these, we have some others. And I'm just really thankful that we have such qualities to select from.
Anybody who wants to get this spoken, go.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.
There's the basketball.
Yeah, there's a basketball day.
We're almost as entertaining.
That's almost. Oh,
I know. You're on live stream it? No.
Charter board meeting report.
So, the charter board just met, we, introduced, we just had, selected a new member, Carla Harris, Natalia Harris, and that now brings our charter board to capacity. We have now representation, 7 members. We had student reports, talked to us a lot about just life in general at school, and they shared a number of little concerns that we're gonna work on, some stuff from the cafeteria that is of interest to them, as well as they were updating us on some of their special events that they've got going on. Of the different special events going on, though, probably the one I don't think is on here, but Katie's here. And I can just make sure that they have FFA week coming, is that this month?
Yeah.
The 23rd through the 26th. And they've got a slate of just, sounds like a bunch of fun set up for this month, for the kids, that week. And so, that's not on your summary at the end of your agenda. And so I just want to make sure that was called attention, because some of the stuff they were describing just sounds like a scream. Could you just touch on a couple of things more fun events?
You know that, Okay.
Hello, my name is Kate Michaels. I'm a new ag advisor here. We started this last August. This year for FFA week, the officers all got together and we built our weekly plans, and every single day is a dress up day. So we stay in a different theme. As well as during our lunchtime activities, we have activities. So our first day is we're gonna have some minute to win it games, some really quick fun activities. Tuesday, we're starting a new game during the whole day, not just at lunch. It's called Duck Duck Scramble. So I apologize to all the teachers in advance, but the chapter officers are hiding little baby resin ducks all over the school. And there's a collection of 6 that have letters FFA on them, and kids find the ducks that spell out FFA, and then they bring those 3 ducks to the ag room and they get a little prize. They can bring it whatever they want, as long as it's not involved or taken away from class time. And then that's on Tuesday. Wednesday, our lunchtime activity is granny pants game, and it's pretty much like huge balloon pants with a hula hoop, and the kids have to catch balls that get thrown at them, and the kid with most balls in their pants wins. And then Thursday, we're taking over Mr. Giles' Discover You time, and we're doing an Ag Olympics that day. So the kids will dress up as a farmer, relay dress up as a farmer, and we'll have rubber boots and overalls, and we'll have to put straw down overalls and flannel shirts, and then find an egg in a hay straw or straw bucket. And my favorite game is going to be the tongue toss. I got cow tongues donated. They're going to be partnered. And one partner's gonna have a board with nails, and the other partner's gonna have the cow tongue, and they have to toss the tongue over their back, and the partner has to catch the tongue. I won't have cameras out for when the tongue slaps a kid. I'm super excited. I mean, no, I'm not. So, and then at the end of the evening, we'll end the week with a Blue Gold Gala here in the gym for all the FFA members, and we've also extended an invite to a few other FFA local FFA chapters, South Umpqua, Glendale, and as well as Kansas Valley. We also, was invited by the Douglas County Commissioners to come in and receive our plaque for FFA week for our chapter as well. So we going in, I believe, Wednesday morning, and be there until noon at the Douglas County Courthouse for that. Thank you.
So we have that we reported at our meeting, as well as some other comments made by the students. We had a report from Kathy Knapp about second semester schedule, what some of the options are there, and what type of things we're doing for students that is keeping them engaged in the second half of the year. And then we had a little bit of conversation even about what that might look like coming into the start of next year, and how when we are looking at electives as a school, we do have a challenge in always trying to always hitting the target for students on what their interests are, and staffing it with somebody who knows how to teach what their interests are, okay? And sustaining those enrollments in those places, because as soon as the kids come in and they do a semester of that, it's like, oh, I want to do this now. And now you're trying to figure out what that is. So it's always a bit of a moving target, and And Kathy was reporting on what that looks like this semester and maybe with the start of next year would be. And she also gave a little bit of an update on the senior class, which I'll try my best to summarize. If I get it wrong, you can correct me. But she basically was explaining the fact that our senior class currently, all of them are on track to graduate. They're all currently, they, and let me help you understand. Our entire senior class hasn't been here with us the whole time. We've got at least 2, if not 3 students that have been to us. Some of them came in credit deficient. We've been able to catch them up and they're all now on track. One of them significantly deficient. We did have one who was slightly deficient, who was a bit of a struggle, but she went back to her home district. So currently right now, all of our seniors are on track to graduate.
Nice.
I gave a little bit of an update on things that I'm going to share with the board tonight, so I won't do that twice. And then the last thing we talked about was the Evening of Excellence, where we're trying to set the date and we're just waiting to hear back from some others on that stuff. For the next one.
Thank you. Hey, do we have any public input? No, perfect. Okay. Discussion items, we have the charter contract. Start there. Did any of the board members have questions or anything on the contract?
Oh, it was great. I mean, there's nothing that I would criticize on any of it. So I don't understand a lot of it because it's the first one I've ever really looked at.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was great. You guys did a lot of work.
Mike? Anything? Charlie? You have anything? Laura? No?
I have one thing, but I can't remember what did I found.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
on page 6, July, received space. And fiscal year. In section 2, fiscal.
Oh, I see it. Okay, thank you. I'll take any of that type of meeting, but I want as clean as possible.
All right, so here are my questions then. Page 4, you've got there's a couple dates highlighted. Are we changing those or are we adding?
Yes, so those change, basically the first one, where it says April 18, 2016. Should the board choose to accept this contract, then that date would be changed to today's date. And it would be for the next 10 years going forward. And then, the second date, sure, I got the story straight. You see, it's, okay, no, I've got it wrong. So the second date is what goes forward. The first one is the date that the charter board gave to you. So that one would be like last month. Okay.
Okay. On my page 7, which is section 4A, where it's talking about the grade range in P-K-12. I guess I just wanted to clarify for myself, is pre-K actually considered part of the charter school? Or is pre-K part of the school district?
That's a really great question because actually, it probably is not part of the charter school. Okay, so that should probably be K-12. Paul, you can correct me if I'm saying anything there that you think does not resonate correctly. But because pre-K is actually paid for by preschool promise for the most part, and it's not directly fully funded by the district. We have a rolling funding of it. It probably does not fall under the charter. Any thoughts on that?
That sounds good to me. I honestly don't know, but
Yeah.
that sounds
I
accurate.
can verify that. I can verify that with OSBA.
Okay.
But I've thought about that myself and didn't ask the question. I needed to, yeah.
Is it considered a Days Creek charter school? I mean,
The pre-K?
yeah,
That's the thing, it probably is not. It's a part of our school district. See, this is the whole thing. This is the way it used to be before. Before we even had pre-K, we had Tiller. We had this place. This place was a charter school and Tiller was part of the school district.
right,
So we had two different entities.
yeah.
And then as that came down here, we're in one entity, which kind of resulted by why we got all this crazy language. Now we have that building, which might be crazy language, so.
Right.
Delineating between the two.
So there's no curriculum that the charter board would be responsible for in regard to the pre-K?
No.
Not even beginning, reading, curriculums or anything? Okay.
No.
All right, my next question is on page 9, I guess that's section 5. B to C. It said in the old one,
The top of page 9.
Oh, I see, okay. Two.
where it says non-resident students.
Okay.
So that paragraph used to be a lot longer and there was a big statement in there about,
About removing students, and for different reasons may not, yes, the attorneys told me we couldn't do that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, no, so what, just so everybody else knows what she's talking about, we had a statement in here, which actually we added. Okay, actually, the charter board added. And that statement was basically that when we have students come from outside our district, who are non-resident students, and they do not attend regularly, they do not behave themselves, they do not work to accomplish academic ends, that we can then basically send them back to the district they came from. And so when we sent this in to be vetted by the attorneys, they said, no, Joe, you guys don't get to do that. Once you accept them, the only way that you can actually remove them is through the expulsion process. So if their behavior were severe enough that they would be expelled, yes. Expelling somebody for attendance, that gets sticky, but it's doable. Okay. But you have to go through all these other formalities to actually do it. So
So when a kid from out of district comes in, do they still sign a contract?
they do. Yes. But they said.
Contract is complying with the, or it can't contain that language at all.
It,
Or anything.
it can contain that language, they can sign it, it doesn't matter, because we don't get to do it, it's like, yeah. So, yeah, because currently what we do right now though, is, just so the board knows, is we actually do more thorough vetting of students who are coming in than ever before. Okay, and so, this year, actually, we had, I would say maybe we've had 2 that were, that would have struggled to sustain that stuff, both of them have gone back on their own. Maybe 3, but none of them were current.
So the standards for both students out of district and in district are identical in regard
Yes.
to expulsion?
Yes.
Okay,
All those standards.
page 12, the last paragraph in section 8, today, districts contract services. Those non-essential services shall be provided to DCCS only by an annual district agreement made at DCCS's request. What would that look like?
So what that means basically is if there were reason for them to actually ask for something, it'd have to come to this board for a contract, okay? And I can't imagine, honestly, anything coming from them that would be a request to the board, unless it were specific to curriculum or assessment. Okay, so if they
Don't have to
said,
ask for funds.
yeah, and they said, hey, we need to do this, and we really endorse this, and we'd like the board to endorse it as well, that would be what they would do. Those would be the only 2 areas where they could come to the board, so. The only 2 places that are not.
On page 14, very top, the paragraph starts with the district shall be the employer of DCS employees. And the very last statement talks about, collaborate in the hiring and evaluation of the Well, currently it says charter director slash district superintendent, but we were gonna, one, it was never really called a charter director, so that probably needs to come out and just. I was wondering if we should say the district superintendent who performs executive director duties, if we need to put that
So
statement.
let me
in.
just go back to the board on this. That's, we made so much fun of that executive director last night. Seriously, I had OSBA who was telling me one thing and our attorneys were telling us another. And in the end, our attorney said, do whatever they tell you to do, OSBA. OSBA said they don't see any reason why we can't cut the executive director terms out. As long as when we edit our bylaws, we cut the term out of there and replace it with superintendent. So since that's what this board had asked for, then that's what I recommend. So if executive director exists anywhere else in here, I'll make sure that it's then removed and replaced with district superintendent. And then then when this does become approved, the contract does become approved, that'll give guidance to the charter board to move forward on reviewing their bylaws further. They've done some review already, but give them a chance to go through and review the bylaws to make sure it's in line with the contract. One of those things would be to then extract the term executive director and replace it with superintendent. So the superintendent's the only role that exists running both entities.
We just gotta make sure that we put the executive director duties in the position description as the superintendent gives. I don't see us ever having a separate superintendent and a separate executive director. I think that's always gonna be the superintendent. And when I was looking at the ranking of individuals, the super's at the top and the ED would be under him, so. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. On that same page under substitutes. It says it's gonna be arranged through the frontline service. I'm wondering if we need to put that specific in there because
Changed.
it changes, right? So,
Yeah. So, I can do what you want me to do here. I can remove frontline and just say, through a service provided by Douglas Education Service District. We've been working with them forever. But I don't think we've ever not, we've used different services with them, okay? But, I think your point is legitimate though, in regards to frontline. Who's to say we don't go with a different entity in 3 years?
right, because our last contract said something else, right? So,
So I'll extract the business name frontline and keep the relationship with ESD present in that paragraph.
okay. Thanks. All right, section 12. Looks like we added a new line 3 for item 3A3 to say failure to maintain sound financial management system for 1 or more consecutive years.
Now, honestly, I think that was there and then it disappeared.
Well, I have the old one.
Okay.
And it's not.
It's not there.
it.
Oh, okay. So,
Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have in there. But everything else has a little blurb under it, so I didn't know if we should have a little blurb about that.
okay, let me do a little research.
Because I'm assuming this is due to the situation we got into several years ago. Where things weren't going so well.
Yeah.
financially.
That was. I pulled in here. Let me do a little bit of research on that and report back to you in Bolton this Friday, okay, what I find.
Okay,
Okay, and you guys can make a vote contingent on my finding.
Okay.
Okay, if that's concerned.
Who would terminate this, Carter contract? Who would be the terminating partner?
The school board would,
we would.
We would.
Yeah.
Okay.
if you decide to terminate the charter, is what it comes down to, or this charter contract.
Seems
And
like
it talks about financial instability.
Yeah, it seems like we would probably be just as responsible for financial instability as anybody, and then we're gonna be the terminators, yeah.
Well, when I look at this, all I can imagine is that if somebody on behalf of the charter board were making decisions that were not maybe appropriate and putting the district in some type of financial jeopardy, then the board could say, hey, not cool. And if that person or entity continued to do it, then it might become necessary for the board to part ways with them, if there were something like that.
Oh, you're talking about terminating the person.
No, well, you could, but it's just, I don't know that, it's all just speculation on what it would be. I'm just saying that's the only thing I can imagine this would be useful for, is if in some way the charter board or a representative of the charter board was putting the district in some type of financial liability.
Well, the reason I was asking that last question is because, let's say that, that in the board in the future, let's say was a large group of people who were of a very different persuasion concerning charter schools were to take over the district board, then they would actually have the power to terminate the charter aspect of this school.
That's true.
Should they find reasonable cause according to financial.
Yeah, for the same matter, in 10 years, they could choose not to renew.
The district board, yeah,
The charter board can say, or the school.
that just seems, I don't know, it just seems that like there's a risk there in regard to the future of this school as a charter. Not everybody likes charter schools.
That's true.
I mean, there's a political faction that wants to get rid of charter schools. In fact, they're right here in Oregon. So this is the only reason I'm asking these questions.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'll make some calls tomorrow and get some more detail on that. The cost of that. Yes.
Okay. Perfect, yeah. Page 19. It makes reference to Appendix B. There's amendment.
So that's used stricken. There is no appendix B.
That's what I think.
Okay. My goodness. Right. So changes in law should be number 2. And number 2, appendix B should be cut out of their time because all the appendices have been worked into the actual body of the contract.
Perfect. Then my last thing is on the signatures. Where the title for Anna and I feel like should match our definitions. So it should probably be district board chair and DCCS board chair.
So can I ask one more question on the subject we were just on? Because I was just not quite,
You can ask 2.
I thank you. I'm not quite resolved in my mind with this. So, the only way that this school could be terminated, the charter aspect of Day Street can be terminated is through the district board. Is that correct?
The charter can be. Well, it talks about termination here in the contract. So
Mutual agreement or the election no longer ruled by a party on the expiration of any charter. Then
Yeah, that's my understanding, John.
that doesn't sound like English to me either.
in DCCS, it says can terminate it at the end of a semester, but they have to give us 180 days written notice.
The charter school board can terminate the charter agreement.
They have to give us,
So either of the two boards actually has the ability to decide to terminate, aside from the other board? And I'm just trying to understand it.
the charter board would have to give us notice,
Yeah,
like 6 months notice,
right?
that they're gonna want to terminate it, and then we'll probably work through that. And
Okay,
it says, and the decision to dissolve this charter shall be at the will of the DCCS board. So they they can decide that, not to say that we couldn't choose to write another charter and start another,
Replace
and
that.
replace it, right? So,
I'm just curious about what the procedure would be. Like I say, if there was some sort of political change in the attitude of the boards, that, you know, it seems like, is this school being a charter board was based on the decision of the community more so than anything, wasn't it? Was it a community decision to make Day Street a charter school? I don't really know.
No, it was, I would say the school, we were in such financial.
So who chose to do?
The school district.
The district board did. The district board made that decision. Okay, which we represent.
What I understand, the district board.
We made,
It was really our only decision. We were in such bad financial problems. That's the only way we could survive in school.
okay.
Is
I'm
that
just
what I
curious.
remember of it?
Is that always how a school becomes a charter school in Oregon?
I wouldn't think so. Sometimes they just need, like, bigger districts want an alternative school. That focuses on something that maybe the public schools can't focus on, so they write a charter based on that. So if they want to cover more of the arts and education through arts, then that, or more hands-on learning as opposed to more book learning, then they might write a charter in that direction.
And then the district board would do that. Or would the community itself, you know, I'm just trying to figure out, where does it become the community's?
So the community can coalesce around an idea to form a charter. They have to have a district board that will endorse and sponsor that charter. Okay, so that charter, as it's operating under that board, then must comply with the school board in such a way that they sustain themselves. Okay, in Salem Kaiser, I was the principal of a charter there that was actually extremely successful, but that didn't mean that it played well with the board.
Right.
Okay, which then the board, you know, exiled them to another school, or, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
so it's just one of those things, it is so heavily political, but here, it is what makes us exist successfully. So here's a lot different than a lot of the other charters you see and you hear about. When you hear about a lot of other antagonism toward charters, it's because of those other ones. That same charter I'm talking about worked with the top 95th percent above students in the city. So it looked really one-sided. So which didn't make it very popular. But made it popular for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the will of the community in which the school is located had any mechanism to either create a charter or get rid of a charter other than the elected district board members. I mean, that reflects the will.
The bottom line to answer that is no. The board has the decision to endorse a charter
Huh?
or to not endorse a charter like Roseburg did with,
Phoenix.
thank you, yes.
Okay, thank you guys for taking a little time.
And there's other, if you read down, or there's other like reasons for termination, like termination without notice, like if you feel like they're, like the charter would be health or safety of the kids were at risk, then there's a whole section on it.
And just because we would terminate, just because the charter might get terminated for whatever reason, doesn't mean the school
appeal
closes. It just means we go different kind of rules,
Okay, the school goes on, we're just no longer a charter school.
right?
Well, that's a pretty big change.
It could be, yeah. Considering we have a lot of charter teachers, right? Yeah.
So if I may, it's just from what I'm hearing from the conversations, the only point of contention or lack of clarity in the document after answering your questions is really on page 15 with regards to that bullet number 3 under section 12A, where it says failure to maintain sound financial management system for 1 or more consecutive years is cause for termination. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And so the board wants clarity on it.
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
I don't know how would we, what would that look like?
I
So,
don't know either because
Like,
we're
is it
the,
like them saying, oh, we promised we're gonna get this science book for $40,000, we get the science books, and then we're like, well, we didn't approve the science books? Like, is that what it looks like? I don't know what fiscal, like, what,
so what I would like to propose is, I'm trying to be expeditious as I'm trying to do it. I don't know if I'm hurrying the process. Okay, so you need to tell me if I'm hurrying the process. Because what I want to do is try and get an answer from our attorney on what that really means. And let you know what that means. But then that would, but,
We can see this at the March meeting. I mean, we've still got plenty of time, so,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
Because you need that and you also need 4A under the grade range and whether we put,
all right,
yeah,
okay.
so.
Yeah, I don't understand, I'm kind of with Todd on this, it's a little confusing, sometimes, you know, like the,
uh,
like the financial stuff in the charter.
I know, because technically I mean, when the district got into issues, you know, that was before my time, I came in at the tail end of it. I don't know that was the charters,
It wasn't charter, it wasn't the charter, it was, no, it was.
district,
Yeah.
financial management.
To keep the district, they have to put the charter school in
place,
place in order
yeah.
to bring funds in to keep the district alive.
Yeah, so, and we were able to bring in students from other districts in because we were a charter school, correct? And that's what kept us alive, but now, yeah, so if we're not a charter school,
I see.
is that still the case?
But what's,
I know we're getting into
do
working.
you still need
I
the
think it's
students?
still the case, we're not a charter school, we wouldn't be able to accept kids from other districts or.
Yeah, we do.
The school choice has.
Transfer.
So in Douglas County, there's a working agreement between the 13 districts that any student can move fluidly from one to another, at their request, okay?
You
So
put
long
that
as the
line,
district
and
is
then
willing
you
to,
fought over those kids.
as
like,
long as the district
your
is
district.
willing to accept them,
Mhm.
okay? So here, if this were to happen tomorrow, I believe here we would still be accepting students and we still have students wanting to get in because of who we are and what we do here.
Yeah, so back then, that was not the case, it was like.
Right. Yeah. And we also have an obligation to then release them if they want to go elsewhere. But we do that too, already.
Yeah, so I know back then, when we were having the issue, like, there was like lines drawn, like, your district is here, this kid lives here, this kid lives there, that's when the district is drawn.
Yeah.
That's our kid, that's your kid, like.
There used to also be a time about 35 years ago when they actually wouldn't let kids go.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just wouldn't release them
They wouldn't.
because
It's
that's
not-
$10,000 again, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how it's, that's.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And with the tightening of budgets, hopefully we won't go back to that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, so
Perfect.
we'll get to the next one.
I'm sad that no public is here to help us through it.
It's only a reflection of how good it is.
I got a note on the.
All right, the ESD local service plan for 26-27.
Can you show us what's time?
So I'll
It
just,
feels like it used to be one page and then it got to be 2 pages and now it's 4. Like, or front and back.
Services are expanded.
so, what I did for you guys, last month when this came out was I actually set the two plans side by side, this year's and last year's, to see what the differences were. Very small differences, actually. I mean, when it comes to FTE and the different departments they have, I mean, literally not a whole FTE disparity, but like 0.1, moving from one place to the other. So I actually had time to meet with the superintendent of the ESC to ask him, and I said, hey, it looks to me like there is some shifting, but your total resources are pretty much going to be the same, and the services we're going to be getting are pretty much going to be the same. She said that's exactly the truth. She said there is some differences, and they have some different needs, particularly in special education. But the bottom line is if there's anything unsatisfactory with what we're getting for services, then we scream out loud about it. Because we get what we want, right? Oh, that's something cheap. It was a screamer.
We're paying them, right?
Yeah. And Leah sent me a breakdown on different amounts that we pay for the different services we have, in case you guys want to go into that stuff. But I didn't know how much you want to get down to the movie something.
Yeah, I think usually it's shared with us what the cost is for all the services that we usually sign up for.
Our total cost is $157,000. Actually, 158 when I round up, okay, $158,000. $35,000 of that goes to the supports that we get from Holly and Human Resources. 900 of that goes to our camera services. 71,000 goes to IT services. 11,000 go to nursing services. 22,300 goes to special education and consultation. 8,300 goes to our phone system and our voice system. And 9,250, 9,300, what it goes to data processing services, which is the ADM reporting and data collection services, which when I talk about Division 22, when we go do all those reports, the ESD works with us on the completion of those reports by putting some of the data together for us and collecting all that stuff. So that's what that piece of.
And is our IT guy designated to?
Yeah, he's here every day. Yep, he's here. He's got his own office. Fire marshal clothes. He's cleaned up a
But
little
we
bit.
share Holly.
Yeah, we share Holly. But not tonight, you know.
No, she's ours.
You guys ever do reviews with different elements of the staff that are receiving these services or utilizing them? And find out how well they're satisfied with the service like special ed said?
So the way that works is everybody complains to me.
Okay.
Okay, no, honestly, and then what happens is if there's a concern, I go directly to whomever. So like if I had an issue with somebody in HR, I talk directly to Holly about that and then we resolve it, okay? If it was a bigger issue, let's say it was Holly, then I'd be talking to her supervisor, but that's what I do. That's my responsibility is to make sure that we're getting what we're supposed to be getting. And that's all there is to it, really. I mean, that's my responsibility to make sure we're getting what we do.
Okay.
And that's under our action items for us to approve. That is. Maybe for that. How much was it last year? You know that information?
Leah, how much was it last year?
I think off the top of my head it was a tad bit higher than this year.
Really?
It's really close to the same. Even if this is higher, it's not much different. That I know, but I couldn't tell you what it is. I just know that it was so close in the same that it made me wonder enough to dig in to see what was where. So.
Perfect. Anything on that, folks? Okay. 26-27 school calendar update.
Okay, so, last month I brought this to you for approval, only I told you the day of, I was notified that there was some concern over 3 dates on the calendar. The 3 dates that were concerns were the back to school bash and the 2 council days that we had, conferences. And so what I did is I went back to the staff and I kind of put the ball in their court, said, how do you guys want to handle this? I gave 3 choices. I said, 1, we can keep it as is. 2, we could shift things from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock, but we still need to have classes. Or 3, we could shift to 7 o'clock so we can still meet with parents in the evening and not have classes on those half days, but add a day to the end of the calendar. But we're not losing instructional time. And so they said, well, we don't want to go later into the summer, so let's keep the classes where they're at. We'll cut it back an hour and see how that works. Okay, I know because I've actually tracked parents' attendance at these things, and I know that last hour from 7 to 8 is the weakest attendance. But I'll also keep my ears open. Well, I guess I'm lying to you about that part, huh?
Yeah.
I'll ask somebody to keep their ears with regards to how that's received. If we have people coming in and really expecting to meet, or people not able to meet, I think it's something the board ought to return to next year to see if we are, if there's any problem from our parents with being able to contact the teachers, then I think that we should revisit that. You should revisit that. The other thing that was included in this, by going a day and a half on that day, we're following up each of those with an in-service day. That's a half a day long instead of a whole day long. So that way they don't have, more than the 40-hour week, the week. Okay. So, so I made all those corrections into the calendar, and if you hit your link, that's what the calendar looks like, and it's here tonight for your approval. If you so approve.
And what did we do about graduation next year? Did we adjust?
I think we have it adjusted back. Will you scroll down further, Dawn? May 29th.
Yeah.
So it's the, is that the Friday before? Is it Saturday? Okay, Saturday. Yeah, that's right, because we did Saturday, we moved to Saturday this year, so we're trying to keep that same pattern so we don't, yeah.
Okay. Right, I think that is
The
also.
days of instruction on this are exactly the same, remember, as this year. So there'll be the same number of instruction on it.
Okay. So we need to move that to an action item, looks like. Approve.
I move that we move the school calendar 26-27 to an action.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous. All right, the classified contract.
So, it's done. Okay, so, the classified contract, just so you know, we had a small committee that was working on it, Valerie, Clint, myself and Leah. And we went through and identified the language. We went back to them with their language. They came back with their language anyway. That was settled pretty quickly. And then we had, we actually had a couple things that were kind of a little bit tricky that we had to get figured out, but actually it worked itself out. The contract is for 3 years, 3% each year. Is what the increases are. There is one difference, and that is that we did some analysis across all of the different areas. Now, this is classified, so this is everybody from a cook to a custodian. Okay, all the different people with the different titles we have in our building. And we found that there's 2 areas that were being underpaid. Because we did some analysis across the entire county. We took all of the districts in the county and we looked at all these different job categories and we compared their rates to our staff. And we saw that there were 2 areas that were underpaid. So we gave them 5% bumps and the others 3% bumps. 5% bump first year to get them up to 3% going forward so that they would be competitive against any other district in the county. And so, today we were communicating with the Human Resources Department, literally putting commas into the thing where, it just needs to be skivvied up. But, all the language is there, and aligned with what the wishes of the community.
Perfect.
So I'd like to suggest that you guys move it forward for approval. So it can be approved and we can, I can bring you a hard copy next month if you want one.
Unless you all wanted to review it first, look at it, or, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't like voting over time of Egypt. Where's else?
So we'll vote on that, vote on that next month, everything fine? Which we said we should probably remove it from the action items, or just table that?
It's stable.
When do we get?
You can remove it.
We get to it.
Yes. All right. Perfect. All right, we are going to move into an executive session to work on the evaluation of our superintendent. Yeah, I know. So we're gonna spend a whole lot of time on this. If I recall, we need a motion to move into executive sessions, accurate?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
I moved that we enter into executive session.
moved,
I'll second it.
seconded, all in favor? And it's perfect. Let's take you out.
Sorry.
Go back. And then, and you. Gotta leave on this one.
Oh, do I? Oh, okay. No.
Go watch a game. Do I just text you and resign? Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right.
Always. So you're going to bring my,
You want to put it up on the screen? Is that what you want to do like we did before? Do
Sounds good to me.
Right.
all of a sudden, and
While we're getting situated, this girl needs to use the restroom, so if we can run off and do that real quick. Anybody else needs
All
to,
across that gym.
I know, I might push ramble.
and it's always what it does. What is it? What happened?
Oh, you just got it. Rocket.
Or just put it up there, or I can be making, I can. Something. Is it with this green? Oh, yeah. So.
My son in Arizona was rally. Huh? Just quite moved. I'm just curious as to whether he's down there, looking for houses again.
So there's, yes, there's.
I know we went down there and they put it in on them, they didn't get it since. I think they're pretty serious things. I mean, this hiring process, we're about to make him. Have some decent.
He was like runner up last time. I think he'll be interested again.
Oh, really? And who we got?
I don't know if he wants me to say, I don't know if he's told the district, but he's applying other places.
Seems like there was one local.
He's local.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah. I just can't think.
That shortens the list significantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know him personally, so I heard a good report about it.
I wasn't here in person for the interview. It was when we were on vacation, so I only heard over the phone.
Yeah, it was the last board that did that.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I was here, but just on the phone, so you can't really tell how people, their body language or anything. So,
That job posting sounds up real long as that. Yeah.
we're kind of late in the game. A lot of other districts that have been searching are new, but they're superintendent is hiring, they're already like hiring their superintendent. We're not like crazy late, we've been crazy late before, it's where we get everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel like there's still, I think it's March.
Open your camera.
It's like March 15th is the date that you're supposed to tell your district if you're staying or delivery, whatever. So we're not like to that yet, but we're still, we're mid-game. We're not late game, we're not early. I think we'll put it some good applicants.
So do we have next applicant?
I don't know. And we also need to talk about if we want to hire someone. Are we supposed to be talking about this? Like, we're on break. Are we on break or? Like,
Yeah, we get in trouble for system forum or something.
well, I just feel like we're having a salary left. Right, yeah, by the superintendent.
The metal trailer.
That one.
I like that. So there's parents involved in that agreement at this point because it's Kelly's son. And he's 14 days of down in Cooperville right now. So I'm trying to get them to shut the sign any type of.
And even being out of it.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I could pass word.
It would be nice to get that out of area.
Yeah, and that would connect, but that's a little good idea to do now. Actually,
So that's just thought.
It's a good thought. All right. And we're back. Superintendent report.
Superintendent reports. Okay, so, I hadn't heard anything about any concerns on district equity, but I thought I would check with committee members to see if they had any issues that had been raised to them. And they said they had not. But since, it's something that should be reported to the board with some degree of regularity, I thought I'd just let you know. Does not appear to be any concerns in the district with regards to equity. So, state of your school summary. I just wanted, I know some of you were able to be there, I just want to touch on a couple of things. Have a little bit fewer numbers than we had in the past 2 years, which is fine. It's kind of a cold, nasty evening in some ways. But I did share at that time some information about the work that had been done by the facilities committee and some of the things that they'd heard from the community so far. I solicited the community again to offer their ideas. Actually didn't have anybody approach me with any regards to a community center or anything. I've actually done differently with it. And so the facilities committee met last Tuesday night, and I shared with them some of that information, and they said, well, it sounds to us like we've had these 3 outreaches at least. We've had 17 different specific inputs made, some of which were repetitive, but resulting in these designs that we're hearing. And then I shared that evening, and they said they would like to maybe move so far as to suggest to the school board a location that they'd like to start considerations for this structure. And so they are of the mind that if they can determine the location to do the work, then we can really get down into the design of the structure as opposed to how it might differ in some of the locations. So that group has investigated a handful of different locations on the campus that they thought were best. And the place that they determined that they're really selling on is actually just on the other side of this building where Anna's room is, the library is right there. Moving, of course, that structure and the container and building it close, because what they explained, and Todd's on this group, he can fill in any blanks here. What they explained is it'd be close proximity to this building, so if there's shared materials for PE purposes, they'd be in closest proximity. Students could still walk down this breezeway we have here that's covered for lunches and make access to the building cafeteria without being out in too much rain. It would also be close enough to this building. There's another reason for so close to this building, but anyway, basically, the back side of the building furthest away from here would be probably the side of the building at which community would approach it, not the back side of the building, but the community would approach the other side. There'd be parking on the other side of the building. And they were recommending that we make access to that building. They could still access through the front gate this way, but also creating access off the baseball field road and up this way. So that it would wrap right around to a parking lot on the other side of the building. And that other side of the building would be the photos. And we had David McLean, who's an architect from Austin, who was in attendance, and actually he's a nice student of mine.
Great.
From about 40 years old. Anyway, who was in attendance. And he's going to take those ideas and start to imagine what it would look like there with all of the different parameters they heard from the community. So the idea being a couple of things. They'd like to get the board's endorsement on the location so they can begin working on an actual diagram for what the building would look like. All of that is of course, around the notion that the board still intends to try to do a bond in, I think it's May of 27 is the date. So there's a couple of pieces that goes with this, and this, I'm just continuing down my report here, but we have applied for a TAP grant so we can get it to pay for a long-range plan that we can have in place so we can apply then for an awesome grant in the fall. The awesome grant will, if we are awarded, can pay up to half of our bond that we're asking for. So whatever the sticker price is on that, we would be aligning these resources to help pay for half of whatever the bond ask would be for that building. All of that is on the timeline of May of 27. So that's a date that you've given to Leah and I at one point. So that's what we've been working off of, and that's what all this stuff is in design toward, is that flow. The next step is if you approve that location, then that architect will do some work for us and create some stuff that we'll bring back to this group to look at. And then at some point roll it out to the community for their input as well. It won't be baked. It's just the first rendering is all it would be. Okay. But the ask is about the location. And Todd, please fill in and blanks here if I'm missing anything.
Well, I had actually suggested a location on the far end down there. I know there's some grade issues, but if we were to build it on that end, it would have to be a 2-story, you might say a split level. So you would have, because there's just not enough room to have the kind of footprint that Joe's kind of been working with on a 1-story design. If you guys saw that, the drawings that he had made, he probably did. So there were some different conversations about the potential for a 2-story building rather than a 1-story. Like a need for elevators, for instance, perhaps.
Are you talking about where the play shed is?
Straight, no, I'm talking about straight on the end of the street.
Oh, yeah.
So, but there's enough room to do it, but it not a 1-story structure for what we were looking at in all of the different elements of it. The other part that our committee had looked at, the other decision was one you suggested, Laura, right out there in the middle of everything. The negative, there's a couple negatives to that in our mind, maybe not in your mind, but I'll just share with the committee, the negatives in our mind were. One is that the distance from the school on rainy days to get out to go to lunch is a cafeteria. So there's gonna be an issue perhaps of getting the students back and forth without getting soaked on torrential downpours. That's one issue. The other issue is, as we move through this, because of the kind of grants we can get and the kind of donors that we may be able to bring into play, the committee thought that it was especially important that we put an emphasis on this as a community center. And as a community center, that location, is kind of, you might say, in the middle of the campus. So there's really no way to completely separate it. Let's say we had a FEMA emergency and we were using this area to actually literally house some people for whatever reasons, a large forest fire, earthquake. I don't know what could happen. The Chinese invade. Who knows? But either way, this is part of what we're looking for here, is to actually offer a place where in emergencies, the community can gather and actually work together to perhaps survive a bad incident. If it's out there, that's going to be a little bit difficult because you're going to have a community in the kind of more or less in the middle of the campus, and the traffic and everything would make it a little more difficult. So, and we had really talked about purchasing the piece of property down here, like you were mentioning. We had a small conversation while you were out. This location that we kind of, and Troy Michael suggested this, and this location here on this end, the advantages it has is we would actually have the community entrance down there at the entrance by the baseball field. And we would come right up the road and then come right up on top here and go right around the far side. The new building would be, say, an 8-foot breezeway between this building and it that could be covered with a soffit. So you could have the roof lines, a small, covering over that walkway. So you'd be able to walk in between the two buildings. You'd be able to be under a breezeway there, and you could enter it from either end and come between the two buildings. We could use in that soffit, I talked to Joe, we could put in that soffit the gutter. If the water from the main building, from the new building runs back this way primarily, and then the overhang, you could actually build a soffit where you were walking underneath like a 10-foot ceiling, that you could actually move the water out of there through a trough inside that soffit. You could also use that for electrical lines, heating ducts, whatever, to conceal everything. But we could access this really nicely. The driveway would go all the way around the outside of it, and the parking would be on that side, above the football field here where people park, and on that side of the building. And we would have the whole field, if we did, I know it's hard to imagine, but if we did have an emergency where we had some tents or something that had to be set up for people or trailers, we have the field out there, and you would have direct access to the cafeteria, to the community center, to the medical aspects of it. And the school would be able to continue to function normally, because all the school traffic would come in the front gate, and all of the community type traffic would come in here and come up from below. So there was the thought patterns behind that location where we could actually continue to function fairly normally as a school in the case of an event where the community was actually joining us on the campus for a longer term.
I would imagine if that were the case, that schools probably would be in session, so.
Maybe not.
Well, and I also feel like if that were the case, we could close down that building and have it be just, you know, we would
So if,
close down the
well,
building
with
and
that,
just have kids.
Except that it's our cafeteria, so they're
Yeah.
not.
so what was the plan for doing with all the water that goes through Bamboozle Creek over there?
That's what I was wondering.
We have to have a pump underneath that thing all the time, underneath that building.
Well, the building was
Oh, wait,
where the
that's-
laptop is really, I mean.
Well, currently there's a drain that goes through there that drains all that swampy area over
Yeah,
there.
now that would have to be addressed, no doubt.
That whole field is so wet. That's why we have trouble with the softball field every single
And we've
year.
had trouble
We
with the,
built the softball field in a different place, if you remember, right? At first, and that was too wet, and so then they moved it over to where it's at now. And so there's been a lot of people try things over there and it hasn't worked, so it's kind of hard to imagine.
I really, from a building perspective, the person needs to deal with the drainage and get that mitigated a long time before you start building anything, because that ground's gonna settle and things are gonna move a year, 2 years, 3 years in advance, and get that dried out prior to thinking about building anything.
So what was the footprint size that we were thinking?
Trying to figure what it was. It's pretty good sized building.
I don't have that.
I didn't bring it either. Like 120 by 80 or something like that.
Possible, yeah.
Pretty good sized building, so, yeah. The building, most of the building would end up being on top of the blacktop as it is once you move that to the library. But you're right, that area out there, as far as, it would be the area where you would drive through the traffic area, and it would end up being a parking area. It would have to ultimately be drained. You'd have to deal with the issue you're talking about, no doubt about it. It might be a good way to deal with it, because you could put, if it's just being used for parking, not rather than building the building on it. If the building's up close to this building, it's only 80 feet that way. Probably most of the foundation will be on the blacktop.
I don't see most of the building being on the blacktop.
I don't either.
What's that?
Most of the building is not gonna be on the blacktop if it's 80 feet wide, because even the whatever those called, the library, the modular out there has had issues with.
So,
Yeah,
oh, so it is, the modular itself is off the blacktop then?
Yeah.
That's the corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like,
and it's been an issue
I think it
for
would
that.
be helpful to actually stake it out to where we could actually visualize where it's gonna be and where the 80 feet is, as opposed to guessing whether it's on blacktop or not.
Right.
Get the separation and all that.
I would agree that
I
we
feel like there's room out by the place, to place that out.
Yeah.
Even if we took out the thin level and moved it somewhere or something, I feel like there's.
But
What about recess though, like the kids, they
Well,
go
this
to
would be
the
said.
field and they use.
Well, it wouldn't take the whole field, there'd still be field.
And this is what you said. You
I
said-
said, I feel like there's room out there where the place that is.
Oh, okay.
front and center, community center, front and center. And I like that idea if we
Like
can,
where the grass is?
Well, and landscape can also change, like landscaping can make some really cool benches and tables and, I mean,
And as far
It could
as
be
the
really
getting
beautiful.
wet, if they're building an overhead canopy, you could build an overhead canopy at the front. You'd have to leave room for the buses if they were still continuing around it. Part of it can be a walkway, a covered walkway.
between the two buildings, yes.
Between the two buildings.
Well, that's what we're talking about tonight, and we'll find out.
But either way, I think it would be advantageous to get the two sites staked out with some stakes that can actually visualize the footprint, the parking.
But
Yeah, so one of the things, Charlie, is this guy took the stuff, he's gonna actually, everything I was doing is kind of made up, right? I had like this template, and I just tried to make sure everything was in it, right? Some of the sizes I know were authentic, like I know it was big enough that it could keep you could put a basketball court in that multi-purpose area, okay? But outside of that, I mean, classroom sizes, kitchen sizes, all that stuff was just kind of made up, just kind of make sure everything in the health clinic, all that stuff just made. So this guy's gonna actually go back and try to get authentic sizes to it. So when we actually stake something up, it'll be something more authentic than what I had anyway, so.
So as far as the size, I think realistically, the size that's gonna be affordable is a smaller size as opposed to a larger size as far as getting the budget to, or the bond to pass.
it's not, well, really, when we're talking the smaller size that we could go with versus the larger size, the cost difference is gonna be minimal
Yeah.
from a construction standpoint, really.
Yeah,
The approach I was trying to take was trying to make sure I had everything the community wanted under one roof. So I could say, oh, Mike was into this, so there it is, and then, trying to say, here it is, making sure everybody had a piece of what they envisioned in it. So that we just have more stakeholders who might be bought into it.
And the truly expensive part of it is gonna be all the kitchen equipment.
Yeah.
That's gonna be super spendy.
So just from having grandkids in the school system, get an expert in small gyms, auxiliary gyms are typically smaller. Typically, you have the seating for the basketball players on one side and then more of an area on one side. And then go bigger from that. But I don't, like I said, I think keeping the costs down, I think is important.
That's kind of the model that I had. It wasn't a big thing, but I didn't have bleachers, the model that I was showing it just big enough for them to be able to practice it.
Yeah.
Be important as far as trying to get people in this community to pass it for sure.
What,
Up on
what's gonna be important?
keeping the costs down.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think people understand what construction costs are right now, especially for commercial buildings. So
Yeah.
I,
we think it's gonna be important to bring in donors, like, the tribe,
I would agree.
Ford Foundation, and so one of the reasons that, we're viewing the structure the way we are, is because we're hoping that the community center and the aspect of having a, health clinic there, that there's a much better opportunity. With the one lady that's been working with us, what was her name? She felt that would open up whole new areas of,
Oh, yeah, Sarah Swanson.
yeah, Sarah thought that would open up whole new areas of potential donors. And, most of this is matching funds that we're gonna be dealing with, so in order to help with the cost, if we had some large donors,
And we get to use the donors against the Optum grant.
So if we can, this is what I envision, is we get an understanding of what we want. We get a bottom line figure out what that is and start chipping away from that by saying, I'm going Health Alliance, you're interested in this, being the sponsor of our health clinic. What can you do for us? Okay, what's that look like? Actually, Oregon Community Foundation. They actually are trying to support the construction of community centers right now in the state. So we go to them, say, hey, we want to do this, what can you do for us? And start chipping away at what that number is before we actually put it to a bond. Okay, and get some, the tribe, Ford Foundation to say that they're willing to put this much toward it. So whatever that number is, we knock it down. So we get it down to whatever that number is, and then half of that, the Austin grant pays for.
Okay.
We just need to be able to show people like donors a vision of what this thing's gonna look like, which means we need to develop the idea for the location and then the basic design of the building.
Would he do too? Could he draw up something that would look like, he feels like it would look like out there? And what it would look like out here, and then give us a choice in it? Instead of,
Probably.
instead of.
I think we need to do a little bit of research and see if there would be some kind of, my brain just fell off. What's it called when somebody goes ahead and with the dirt,
Oh,
you know, not a surveyor, not
Excavation?
an excavator, somebody that does like
Like a
this.
geology survey.
Yeah, sort of.
That's a construction engineer, that's actually,
Yeah, maybe an engineer. Have it.
somebody who actually does the analysis of your impacts, so, yeah.
So I know in the other building, they're talking about doing it over to the right of the shop and stuff. Just the amount of excavating out and the rock work that was gonna have to happen before any building, any good place was an extraordinary amount of money.
When I went to a bond, conference a couple of years ago, year or two ago, that's exactly what they said. They said, if you don't have a clear vision on exactly what the structural foundation costs are going to be, they said,
The cost of that could be.
yeah, astronomical.
that,
Yeah.
because even just when we were talking about fixing the softball field out there, and the excavation work to do it
Yeah.
properly for a softball field was
Mhm.
ridiculous. So I don't know what the best use of that spot of the property is, but
So, I can ask him if he would do two, okay, I'm still waiting to hear back from him anyway. I'll tell him that, the board's kind of curious what it would look like out in front.
Yeah.
Okay, he was here, so he knows what the grounds look like.
Which it's been kicked around in years past also.
Mhm.
And I know that, so they've talked about it, you brought it up tonight, that we've talked about putting an offer in on a piece of property that is
behind the preschool.
behind the preschool.
Oh,
And that if we, that would greatly improve our facilities if we had like that property, like different access, lot down there, which I don't know how to go about that as a board.
What about the
That
distance
would
from
be
the
it.
school to get the
That is probably the biggest problem.
This thing is more a cafeteria than anything in
Yeah.
reality.
It's the
To our
The daily
functionality.
use is gonna be the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daily use is the
That's what our functionality of school is gonna be primarily as a cafeteria.
Yeah, sure, that's a lot of reason.
And as an extra gym. I mean, that's the other big aspect of it, that we're gonna have an extra practice gym. Those two things, the cafeteria and the practice gym, are what the school is gonna enjoy the benefits of.
Maybe additional classrooms.
Yeah, and the additional classroom, so.
But even still, you know, if we could get that other land, I mean, there's still talk, you know, is there a way to reconfigure the grounds, you know, maybe with it, you know, do we move some barn space, you know, or, you know, we had talked about moving the softball field, would that be a better spot for the softball field? That's still closer to the baseball field, you know? I don't know.
So which, I'm not sure which piece, are you talking about the pieces just left to our drive? Or we talking?
all the trailers?
The one behind, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's kind of a hill leading down to
Yeah,
it. isn't
it is, yeah, it's
Kind of
slow.
steep spot.
I don't know if you could, I know, so in the past, Milo and there's a kind of a little farm, it's been the station for like the helicopter firefighting helicopter situation. I don't know if we did have a community center, if we could, you know,
Help with that.
with the community's understanding of this is a community center, firefighters would be, have a, you know,
Yes.
yearly stationary community to come to, they could use our showers, they could use our facilities. And I think it's kind of
It's a source of revenue.
also.
I actually had that exact conversation. I had that exact conversation with Bill Croft.
Yeah.
About the Days Creek station over here in its actual condition. And their interest in maybe vacating that and becoming a part of this project.
But this is totally separate. So in the summer, the helitech crews are stationed somewhere And there's a lot of revenue that could
Oh.
potentially come in. I
Oh, I
don't
see.
think that we get much revenue from the Face Creek Fire.
Oh, I see, you're looking for the veterans,
Yeah, and then it's a place that's, you know, I mean, I would feel safer if we've got somebody right here instead of out in, you know,
yeah.
here or there, and it's all dependent on, you know, the farmer, if they want to host
Right.
that year, or if Milo wants to host
It
that year.
gets a little messy. We've had like them there before,
Oh, yeah.
and it does get a little messy. You have students coming in for things and stuff, like we've had camps scheduled in the summer here, and then you have football practice starting early, volleyball camp, volleyball practice, and some things are having students, and it has to be a very specific time frame that it would work for, and then they don't, a lot of times, they don't like to come in and be like, you can only be here for a month.
Right.
You know, they want somewhere where that's like, if the fire goes,
Right.
they don't want to have to move their base.
Right.
But they did use this here before. I remember them setting up a lot of different, like, technology.
Okay, so
that they had.
I'll go back to the committee and I'll tell them, that you'd like to investigate both places and maybe see if the architect would do a rendering for both places to see if that would be much different. And then whatever that is, whatever the footprint of that is, then we can stake it out and walk around and check it out.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get some corners on this over here to find out just where everybody's vision of where that building should be.
Now, you guys talk about in the garage, you're not talking about taking down the play shed.
I think I was taking them.
Are you talking about?
Whatever space you need out front and center, I would say take it.
Yeah, the place,
We can,
Or
we can
moving
move-
it.
place it out.
Yeah, we can move a play
We have
shed,
Jim instead.
right? So, you know, or if we have to reroute buses to a different spot, I mean, we can do that stuff, but. Okay.
Take
that off. Yes, and you could also mention about interest in potentially purchasing that property for future expansion or whatever, if they wanna. They have any recommendations on that?
When I started a meeting on Wednesday with Kim, Superintendent, trying to just ask them about processes they go through for doing. And just kind of get a look, I'm not.
Like a, yeah. Just write a letter.
Oh, we want to.
Yes.
We might want to think about, doing some test holes out here, if we're even going to consider that. Like what Mike was saying, they could tell us more if somebody came in with a small excavator and dug, like you do for a septic system, you go in and dig test holes. If you had someone come in here and dig, you know, a series of holes, they don't have to be huge, but at least the guy can jump down in the hole and look at what he's looking at. And say, well, here, this type of clay, black clay, whatever it is, this is gonna be a serious problem, and if you're actually gonna
Yeah,
try to build a building here, here's what it's gonna take.
yeah,
Right.
which you can do, I mean, it might require, you know, pilings and a,
They build stuff in the middle of rivers.
right?
You can do anything you want to.
Off down, yeah.
I don't think.
That's not cheap though.
Yep, so, okay.
Okay. And the last thing I had on my list was Division 22 compliance update. You might recall when I did your, review of Division 22 this last fall, I said there was one area in which we were not compliant, and that was because the state was slow rolling some, of the regulations back in since COVID. And there was one that we didn't see coming until it showed up, and then it said, did you do it already? And we had not. So what we did is we've now put into place a plan to meet those demands. It's in the area of what's called essential skills. Essential skills is another way in which we test students to make sure that they're capable of doing the work. You could pass the state test, and that's evidence that you're capable, or you can do essential skills, which is like work samples, is in grades 3 through 10. Okay, and four different areas they do them, and we've been doing them, but this particular one that they added back was adding in the freshman class that we weren't doing that. And so it's like, so I had to say no, okay? And so I've actually got a conversation with Alicia on Tuesday or tomorrow, saying, this is what our plan is, and this is how we're going to do it. And we actually met last Friday, I mentioned this to you in your bulletin. We met last Friday to actually outline who's doing what grades, and who's doing everything in different perspective grades. This is what the secondary pieces look like. Up to grade 5, the grade level teacher does all of them. So I just want to make sure that you guys were aware that, while we were out of compliance, I have a specific plan for getting us back into compliance, so next year, we'll get yes. That's the end of my reports.
Okay, thank you. All right, consent agenda items. I don't think we had a link to the minutes. I did not.
I didn't.
I don't know if we want to take time to review it or table it till next month. Laura's looking over it. Thank you for blowing it up since I can't see.
You want me to start over?
No, you're good. Randy didn't come to the state of the school thing, huh?
Okay, I think they're gonna open that up for you as your annual ethics check-in. Is it the 15th? I think February 15th. They'll be notified with emails.
On McCallum's name at the very top, it wasn't capitalized, but other than that, it could be. Mess. Let me see.
And then we have the minutes. We also have the hiring of Hal Newton as the middle school assistant girls basketball coach. Changing a title essentially, Director of Student Services / Special Ed, and it will be Elementary Principal / Student Services Director. And then a letter of retirement from our superintendent for years.
Be nice. Good night. You can sit here for it takes for him to take it back.
Does anybody have any comments or questions on any of those before we move on? No? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve all consent agenda items.
I move we approve all consent agenda items.
Second that motion.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Leah is not here.
We don't.
Um. Hmm.
Thank you, that's amazing.
Lee and I did speak today, a little bit about this. I was just gonna share with you a little bit on the budget update, the progress that we are doing, on that, just so you have some awareness. So currently, the state of Oregon still is wrestling with how they're going to fund, the shortfalls they have, particularly anything that's involving monies that could be coming from the federal government. They have some resources they can backfill with, but their challenge is that they already funded the biggest number coming into the biennium. And so they know that they're gonna have a fight to take more money and assign more money to it after they gave such a large number up front. The larger districts in the state, Portland, Salem, Kaiser, are cutting dozens and hundreds in some cases of staff to make their budgets meet. Just so you understand, those districts tend to run their budgets, their human resource budgets in the 90th percentile, around 91 to 92%, which is just foolhardy. Because when these things happen, then you have to cut people. That's all there is to it. We run in the upper 70s, just to give you an idea. So that's why we don't have those concerns, okay? We, as a district, are still waiting to hear if there is federal cuts, what area they're going to be in. But we haven't heard anything yet, and so we're just waiting to hear. We are supposed to have much more clarity by the end of this month. So at the next board meeting, we should be able to give a full update on what everything is right now. She's looking at just being careful in what she's doing for budgeting going forward. She's just trying to buffer everything at 10% less, just to try to be careful, you know, and then we'll just see what they end up saying we'll get. On our revenue end, we do have, increased enrollment, so that also helps offset any costs that might encounter. So. Though I have not seen the news report, so.
If anybody has any questions, she said we can also call her. It looks like maybe as far as the voucher report goes, we had a fridge repair.
That's what I was looking at. Like, how much is a new fridge?
It said estimate for fridge repair. which that-
$2,500?
Yeah, so, okay, first off, it's one of the big ones, okay, obviously, okay?
That's huge.
And, what's that?
That's one of the huge ones.
Yeah, it's one of the huge ones. And, this is a sore subject. Because how many times have we had that looked at?
Like 5 at least.
Yeah, from different vendors. I mean, we have been doing the fridge repair dance for 9 months.
Mhm.
Anyway, we finally found, it appears to be a competent entity who could do the work. And that's his estimate. It's an estimate, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I see that we were renting or leasing that container or?
Yeah, that's standard operation. Yeah, you just don't buy it. Yeah, because, and that's not just here, that's everywhere. And that's what schools do because you don't want to buy one of those things. There's usually 6 figures and then you do it, anything goes wrong, it's yours to fix, So, yeah, so these are those. Where people go with that.
And it comes with, you don't have to buy toner or anything
Right.
like that, just do with that paper.
Yeah.
So that $2,500 would, was that just paying him to tell us how much it's gonna cost to fix it?
I
Or
believe
that's
that's
to
the
fix it?
repair, I believe.
I think he did an estimate and then he did a repair.
Repair, okay.
Yeah.
And then on page 6, there was a government ethics assessment. Yeah, that one. I don't recall seeing that in years past. You know,
We do that every year. That's a once a year payment.
okay, that is a,
The Government Ethics Commission, it's just something we have to.
Oh,
okay. And then on page 15, sweatsuits with the Brady grant. I was just curious.
So every year I get a small grant and from OSBA. And I usually buy the kids like Days Creek gear and I pick like 5 or 6 kids that don't get gear through their parents or through their teams and stuff. I think that's what that's for.
Any other questions on voucher report or financial stuff?
What's the cost of buying a new fridge versus continuing to repairing one?
that bridge is like 12,000 or it's 5 figures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
much have we already put into repairing it? That's with the 2,500 or without it?
With it.
Yeah.
For next year, but
You want me to take it? Well, honestly, the vendor we had, Donnie, correct me if I'm wrong here, and please do. My understanding is the vendor we had come in before kept saying it was this, that, and the other, and we paid for replacements and parts and repairs,
Yeah,
and then 2 weeks later, nope, same problem.
yeah, or he'd look at it and he'd add a little bit of Freon or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he always had to add Freon because that's how we knew it wasn't fixed. It was, yeah, it was really frustrating to say. But part of our challenge is who we can get here.
Right.
So we finally found somebody else.
And he had a different fix.
He had a different fix, but it looks like this is working, so. So maybe that's the last, maybe we'll have to do it again. That's been for a few weeks now,
Yes.
so. Hold on, Freon.
Right? Yeah.
I see a Santa costume. On the right spot.
Oh, a Santa costume. Yes, that was for the,
That was fun for the big play.
probably for the play when Santa Claus came afterwards. I'm guessing that was a rental.
The costume came a day late, so that was the old costume. It was for the kid, the one that the kid wore in the Christmas play. Oh, yeah.
Nice. There's no more questions of budget stuff, then let's look at the enrollment report.
You're blowing it a little bit for us, thank you.
We're back to 236.
Back to 36.
And we'll see how that changes next month.
Yeah, and so just that purple cell is what's important. We budgeted in 225. So we're still 11, that's $110,000.
But still they take that on whatever our May enrollment ends up being.
Yeah, they do, so, but your trajectory,
Yes,
you know, so.
it's a good trajectory.
Well, we have a new one starting, I think, tomorrow.
Is that the young man sitting in the hallway today?
No, that was his older brother, it's a 4th grader.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Is his older brother the one we denied?
No, these people just moved up next,
Yeah.
to Mike and
I
I.
got you.
The older brother's staying there at Southwest.
Oh, I see, okay. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, we have some other ones that we denied. Come.
Hmm.
Well, I'm just here.
Okay.
I want to know.
She's monitoring me in my behavior.
I apologize.
That's why I've been on such good behavior this evening.
I was like, what, if there's something, I didn't see, if I made something.
Didn't want to make you hang out any longer than you had to.
I'm usually here this time anyway every night.
This is a better entertainment factor.
No, we are pretty fun to hang out with. All right. All right, we're gonna move into executive session again. To talk about, oh, am I supposed to read my thing or not? Review and evaluate the employment-related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body or public officer, employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing. That makes a lot of sense. Authorized by ORS 192.6602.1. It's like, I or what? I don't know. All right, so. We move. Moved. Seconded, all in favor? Perfect. And we are, you get.
Nice try.
All right. So, part of our process, we have to get a recruitment out. Since somebody's leaving us.
So did you think so? That's a pretty cool material, son.
Yes. Yes, I don't know if everybody saw them.
No, I don't think so.
So Holly has things to share with us.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to see me.
Oh, sure.
Anything, and these are the packets, these are, you get one look at that.
Might as well, listen, see everything. There have been conversations between me and Joe and Holly and Leah and this and that. Are we, oh, Donna, have we turned up our camera and?
No.
Okay.
I have. Okay.
Come on, land assistance. I'm good.
Unmuted the.
That's great. I love it. That's great.
Your wife is gonna be so happy, brother.
I'll let you know about that.
No.
Then we go get Katie.
Oh, is she still here?
Well, I will go and start making some changes.
Thank you.
Holly, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see you all. And you're welcome.
Appreciate your help.
Safe travels.
Okay, so we're out of executive session. She unmuted us. Perfect. So now well, I guess we can wait and see if they come back. Huh?
Action items?
Yeah, we'll need to add an action item for the superintendent's search timeline. We'll need to approve that, right?
We'll have to move to add wellness.
I'll move to add the superintendent's timeline to our action items.
Second.
Oh, moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous.
Well, can't blame her.
One other action item to add is.
We're gonna do one, and then. You have to vote on this. I think, is that this, how it is?
Do we need to
State this?
approve the,
Notice. I don't think we can vote on most of these.
I thought she said that we needed to help move up.
Oh, maybe we did.
another timeline?
Things that you needed to add.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to approve the,
The timeline.
and the,
And open
and the posting, the
Announcement.
job announcement, postings, whatever it is, that thing.
I move that we add approving the notice of vacancy opportunity job posting with corrections.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous? All right, so we've added those to our action items. Let's see, we have the ratify the 26 to 29 classified employee contract.
I'll move to ratify the 26 to 29 classified employee contract.
So you're gonna table
Yeah, I thought you guys were gonna take,
Oh, that's
We
right.
talked about tabling it.
Yeah. you guys wanted to see a hard copy of it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so we are going to table item A
So the vote is no.
until we see it.
Then I'll move to approve the local ESD service plan.
Second,
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Everyone?
And I'll move to determine support for the proposed location of a community center. We are not determining that though tonight, are we?
No, we're not. That was pushed back to the committee to look at. two
So that one
sites.
is also tabled.
Yeah, that's it as well.
Okay, so then the superintendent search timeline.
school calendar.
Oh, sorry, I didn't rewrite that on mine. Okay, calendar. Calendar,
I move to approve the 26, 27 school calendar.
moved,
I'll second it.
double seconded, all in favor? Unanimous?
I move to approve the superintendent hiring timeline.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous?
And I move to approve the notice of vacancy corrections.
Moved, seconded, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay, any director reports?
I do have a question and something I've asked a few times, but, we need a vending machines. Like something that the kids can get a snack or a drink at or something like these games. We have teams coming from a long way away and there's no store here, there's no nothing, and there's the concession stand's not open for middle school games and stuff, we always had a vending machine before, and then all the rules changed, and we couldn't have a vending machine. with
When
the,
did you have them before?
it's been a while.
Well,
It's like, well, it was there a long time afterwards.
It's been a long time.
And then it was moved out here. And then a few years
Moved out
ago,
here?
yeah, like outside of the girls' locker room, it just like, it was outside.
You just go by that?
Yep, like Gatorade, water, whatever. But
And it's-
I've asked a few times and it's been like, well, the guidelines and what you can put in there, what you can't put in there and all this stuff.
They're.
Every other charter school has them and they have soda and they have snacks and they have
You have
stuff.
timers on that make it such that you can only access them like after school hours type of thing.
That's
Yeah,
fine with me, I
that
don't
should be
even care,
only-
like, as long as like these kids and like people that come from a long ways away
Yeah.
and even our kids,
Right.
if they forget a Gatorade at home, they can grab a
Right.
Gatorade or they can grab
The granola
a
bar.
granola bar or something, and I don't know who needs to buy it, or like the booster club.
Hey, I know
I know
somebody
with
with a
a vending one
vending
has one for sale, but, no, there needs to be something where they can get something, because there's like, everybody like, they're like, where's the store? My kid forgot water, and I'm like, Canyonville? They're like, Canyonville, I'm gonna miss the game by the time or they need Gatorade or
Yeah.
something, so it'd just be really nice if we could look into that, what the guidelines are and,
I'll look into it.
and stuff,
Yeah, if there's a way to put it,
I'll go
Timer
back to the
on it?
boards or something.
I don't know.
Don't have to wait till next meeting.
I've been looking and like, I mean, Camus has them, like everybody has them, and other people that are charter schools as well, and so I'm like, there's no reason we should.
The only thing I really know with certainty is about the, being open during school hours because because we have free reduced lunches,
Mhm.
school-wide.
Oh.
So that's the,
What.
that's,
the
that's,
caveat.
that's, that puts the kibosh on during school hours. But after school hours, the timer should come on and it should be relaxed. So that shouldn't be an issue. And I don't think, nutritional standards, that honestly, at that point matter. I mean, they matter.
After
But
hours.
I don't think it's prohibited. But let me do a little label comment.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, announcements, high school Pixie Week coming up.
We're in it.
This week, we're in it.
Yeah, we got
There,
think of it.
We have really high participation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not my candy's so boring.
Yeah.
He's not doing it at all?
No,
Wonderful.
I know.
Mine didn't.
I was like, you need to go Pixie shopping? He's like, no.
Yeah, mine wasn't gonna do it.
Girls are so much more fun.
James has the same attitude.
Girls are so much more fun.
So they're pranking James. They prank James. Okay, so I thought, you know what? If he's listening to the board meeting, he'll listen.
Probably not listening.
Yeah. So there's a handful of staff that are actually pranking him to believe that he's forgotten that he did apply and that he has a Pixie and they're actually giving him Pixie gifts. And he's like, I'm not sure who I give it to. Anyway, they're messing with him. That's what heart goes to. My evil side.
Love it. All right, high school basketball hosts Eastland Christian. We've got ASVAB posting. We have senior night here against Elkton on the 13th. No school on the 16th. All right, middle school girls basketball hosts Powers on the 18th. What is this, high school BBI?
Yeah, I is a typo.
Okay, high school
Just-
basketball.
It's not a
district
Sutherland. It's just.
At Sutherland. Okay. And on the 21st, middle school girls basketball district championships. I don't know where those will be, but somewhere. And then the FFA thing on like,
The 26th.
The
That's the week of the 23rd to 26th.
hey,
75.
okay, I don't think we have any public input. Seems how we see the public or sheets of paper, so.
I think our public went home.
Does anybody want to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Yes, everyone. Thank you. I know this is a long meeting. Appreciate everybody helping that to be.
5:30.
Like that, sweet.
I'm generally get up at 4.
Someday you'll get to retire, don't worry.
And they still February 9th.
His leg.
It's still really bored and certain.
What, is he gonna have a surgery or what's?
You have to go get an MRI.